Well, let's go ahead and keep it pushing, man. We got one more segment lined up for y'all. All the Dash Sports shows have been doing it, so I figure it's time for USC. As always, we're the best at it, so it's not really done until we do it. But let's go ahead and give our ideal schedule for the upcoming season. It's only going to be 7 games, but if you had an ideal way to frame the USC schedule for the next 7 games, how would it go come November?
So I've been waiting for a schedule the last 6 days, so I've just been running hypothetical schedules through my mind, and here's what I got. All right. Week 1, we've seen USC start off kind of slow. We don't really want an early season loss just due to rust to cost them right out of the gate. I got them Arizona in week 1, all right? Should be a relatively easy win, get some of the kinks worked out. But then week 2, we've seen them put up strong showings in week 2. I mean, they took down Stanford last year 45-20 or something like that. I think this is when this team would really be ready. Give me Utah week 2. UCLA week 3 coming off the, some people are going to call it an upset. It wouldn't really be an upset victory over the Utes. Come in, take down the Bruins, move to 3-0. Then they're hot. They're hot. Nobody can really beat them at that point. They're coming off the confidence of taking down the rivals. Give me Arizona State right then. Now you've played 3 somewhat tough, somewhat difficult opponents in a row. You don't really want that 4th difficult game like an Oregon or a Washington or anything like that. Give me a sort of, not a bye week, because any team can beat any team. We saw Colorado almost beat the Trojans last year, but they're not going to do it this year. Give me Colorado week 5. And then the Pac-12 North opponents, which USC is going to have 1, I believe, and then another one in week 7, but that would probably be the Pac-12 championship game, which USC should absolutely be in. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to schedule Oregon because they're probably anticipating that's going to be the likely Pac-12 championship matchup. So give me the next best team from the Pac-12 North. Let USC make a little statement for any unconvinced college football playoff voters at that point. Give me Washington, Oregon. The Trojans take them down by maybe 10, 15, 20 points. Then give me Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game.
Nice. All right. Let me give you mine, man, because I was really strategic about it. I tried to think about how, not just how it works for USC, but how kind of people think across the country, right? Week 1, I understand you might want a tune-up game, right? Something that does not have a whole lot of pressure there. You want an easy team, but that's not the route I took. Because like you mentioned at the top of the show, man, USC's coming into this season having to dig themselves out of a hole because of an unfortunate circumstance that has really nothing to do with the team or any circumstances that they put themselves in. These are just the circumstances that they're stepping into. So I need a statement out of the gate, right? I need a statement that people are going to pay attention to. I need something that gets people, okay, USC is a team that I need to watch. But at the same time, you don't want to come out of the gate playing Oregon or one of these teams, right? So what's a game that should be winnable, but people are going to pay attention to?
Arizona State.
We're starting with UCLA, man. We're starting with UCLA. Okay. We're starting week 1, UCLA. That's something that people across the face of the nation, they know what UCLA versus USC means. That's one of the age-old rivalries when it comes to college football. People are going to tune into that game. If USC is able to land that first in week 1 and trounce UCLA, Keaton has a masterful game. People start talking about this guy as the underdog for Heisman. Those are the things that people are going to pay attention to. It kind of sets up this narrative for them to carry out throughout the rest of the season, right? Then you get your 2 kind of pretty winnable games in Colorado and Arizona, and that's getting you ready for this gauntlet that I have them running for the remainder of the season, right? You start out with Arizona State in week 4. That should be winnable. Then you go to Utah. That should be, mind you, I think that's all of these games are winnable, but I'm looking at Arizona State, Utah, and then Cal. Cal's actually the team I have them playing from the North, not Washington. I might be a little bit biased there just because I have a boy that plays over at Cal, my friend Trayvon Clark. I was really looking forward to seeing him talking a little noise to him before the game. Talk about Elijah giving him them clamps or whatever. But I think Cal, all of that aside, I think Cal's a very good team, kind of a dark horse in the North. I know how good Washington's been in years past, but this Cal team has a lot of talent to it, man, particularly on the offensive end of the ball. Even last year, you saw some pretty good talent come out of Cal. So I think that Cal's definitely a team that it wouldn't be one of these games that people could just toss aside and say, like, that's a game that USC should have won. I think Cal's a team that's definitely going to command a level of respect across the nation. So You go Arizona State, Utah, Cal, and then in that Pac-12 championship, obviously you're playing Oregon. You win that game. I think you couple that with the fact that you made that statement week 1 versus UCLA that people have to pay attention to you. You close that book with a win against Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. It's going to look, at least your chances look better than they did before in terms of looking at a college football playoff.
Let me ask you this. And I saw one of the hosts for, I believe it was Bear Dash, say that Cal could be a college football playoff team this year. I respect the optimism. I respect the take. You don't like that as much, but you seem to think that Cal's a good team. So let's dissect that for a minute, right? Based on this schedule, you've got USC playing Arizona State, Utah, Cal, which is going to be pretty good, and then Oregon in back-to-back weeks with no bye.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know.
It's a tough thing, right? Like, you're running through the gauntlet. But what has Coach Orlando been talking about since he got here, the second he got here? We're going to run these guys through the gauntlet before they ever touch the season to play an actual game. That way they'll be able to face any adversity that they face throughout the season. That's why I feel confident to put that schedule together, right? Because there's no breaks there. Once you play Arizona, after that, every single week, you're playing a team that could easily beat you if they put a good game together. But I have confidence in the team, and I have confidence in the coaches to get these guys ready for that sort of gauntlet, man. So that's why I have confidence to put that sort of schedule together.
I mean, we'll see. I just think of 4 games like that for any team, even if USC is clearly the better, or okay, maybe not Oregon, but USC, those are winnable games that USC should probably win in each of those games. But having them back to back, I don't know. I think any team in the country would sort of face some challenges like that, especially with how physical all of those teams are. I
definitely understand your skepticism, because that's no easy feat, right? That's no easy feat to go stand toe to toe with all of those teams. But the way I've made my schedule is what makes most sense for USC to make a college football playoff. How would they have the best opportunity to do that? And I think that's the only way you make it done. You run that sort of gauntlet and come out victorious at the end of it, man. You do that. I think that, as biased as you said at the top of the show, certain people might be against USC. It's hard to deny a team that's able to accomplish that, man. So